Well, hello everybody. My name is Dr. Bruce Faske, and I'm the Associate Professor of Trombone at Arkansas State University in Jonesboro. Last summer, I took on a new project. I decided to record tutorial videos for all of the ASBOA Junior High All-Region etudes for the 2022-2023 school year. I got a lot of great feedback about those videos, and so this summer, I'm doing the same thing for the 2023-2024 etudes. They can be found from the same book as last year's etudes, the first book of practical studies by Gerald Bordner. It's available through Bellwin Music. And there is going to be a link below to the official sheet from ASBOA, the PDF that gives you all of the requirements for the specific etudes, page numbers, and etude numbers, as well as scale requirements, number of octaves, numbers of scales, things of that nature, so that you can know from the source what you need to be preparing. Not from hearsay, not from another student who might not have accurate information, but you can go right to the source. I'll have all of that in the description for each of these videos, so it's easy to find. Now, this video is sort of an introductory video. I'm going to take a little time to give you some tips on how to better prepare this music and how to better prepare pretty much all music that comes across your music stand. This is not some sort of mystical, magical thing that we do. It is a logical set of steps that we take. And I think that the order is just as important as the information that we get along the way. So I'm going to give you 5 steps today that will help you prepare this music and other music that comes your way. So step 1, the first thing that you have to do, you have to know the music and look for all the words that are written on the page. There may not be a specific tempo marking, but there might be a term at the top of the page. Take the time to look up that term on Google. The easiest way to do this to get an accurate answer is to type in the word. Let's say it's andante. You type in andante music term and hit enter, and it should give you an accurate answer for that translation. A musical translation, if that makes sense, because sometimes the musical meaning of a word is slightly different than how it might be used in general speech or conversation. Do that with every term that's on the page of every etude that you're responsible for learning. Now, the benefit and my way of saying thank you for watching these videos is I'm going to give you all of those terms along the way so that you don't have to go look them up. The old school way would be to have a music dictionary, and I have one here on my bookshelf that I've used for years. And it removes the billions and billions of search results in Google and just gives you the 2 or 3 options that exist for that term as it exists in music. But I think Google is fine. And if you ever have a question about something where it doesn't seem quite right, you can always ask your band director. You can always reach out to me, and more easily than that, you can just watch the video. I'm going to give you all of the information along the way. So number 1, know the terms. If there's something on the page that you can't define, Google really only works if you know what question to ask, right? Maybe there's a clef or a sign or some sort of thing on the page that's printed that doesn't make any sense. In these etudes in particular, since it's a trombone and euphonium book, there are trombone slide positions and there are euphonium fingerings. One is the number by itself, and the other one is number in parentheses. And you need to know which one is which, because in some cases, if there's a 1 in parentheses, it's not first position. It's first valve on euphonium. So you want to make sure that if there's a note that you're not quite sure about it, it has a number above it, that you know which one is for the trombone, and you know which one is not. Tip number 2, a place where you can practice, a place with a music stand where the music can actually be up and easy to read. I can remember when I was in junior high, I didn't have a music stand, and I had my music laid out on my bed, and I'm sort of pointing down, looking at it. It was a mess. So try to have a space with a chair and a music stand and maybe a wall plug where you can plug in a metronome or plug in your charger for your phone if you use your phone for your metronome. Have a space where you can practice that's organized and free from as many distractions as are reasonable. Tip number 3 is another one that I think is really important, and you probably hear about this from your band directors quite a bit, and it's probably really important at school that you have a pencil on your stand, but you should always have a pencil nearby at home. Always have a pencil nearby. A really wise musician once said, a short pencil is better than a long memory. Take the extra second to mark something in. If you miss it more than once, there's a reason why you're missing it. It doesn't really matter why, but you can alleviate a lot of stress and frustration if you just write the 4 over the B natural. Not every time it happens in the music, but in that one particular spot, it's worth it to just write it in. So have a pencil, have it sharpened and ready to be used, and don't be afraid to use it. Tip number 4 is also pretty practical. Take breaks. These are muscles. The intercostals, the abdominal muscles, the back muscles, all of those things, they're muscles. And they need rest. You need to give yourself breaks. And maybe the most important thing to give breaks to is your brain. You want to give your mind time to rest and relax. If you try to practice for 2 hours straight, you're not only going to potentially hurt yourself physically, but you're going to stunt your ability to remember things mentally. So my recommendation, I have a cool little timer here that I can set for various times, and it will let me know when my practice session should be done. This setting right here, 25 minutes, is perfect. I set this for 25 minutes, and when it's done, I stop. I take a break for 5 minutes. I walk around upstairs. I go get a drink of water. I go check my mail in the office. I give myself a break. This is because the human brain can only focus at peak levels for about that long. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a class in school, sometimes the first part of the class is way easier to pay attention in than the second half? It's not by accident, and it's not really your fault. It's the way the human brain is wired. So give yourself breaks along the way. Tip number 5. This one, you probably don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. You need to oil, lubricate your trombone on the regular, like at least once a week. That tuning slide that's stuck, if you use tuning slide grease from the beginning, it won't stick. If it's stuck, take it to the music store, get the slide freed, and then make sure you start lubricating the slides. And one of the things that you can do to make the slide lubricant last longer on the tuning slides, when you're done playing for the day and you put the horn in the case, push the slides all the way in, and then you have all of that area with the goopy stuff protected. It'll last longer. For the valve, you're going to want an oil that goes on the inside. I pull my F attachment slide and dump some oil down in there, and then I have another oil bottle here with a needle, and I put that on the linkage, all the outside parts that make a lot of clanging noise. If your valve is slow, it probably means that the inside of the valve is dry and needs oil. If your valve is loud, it probably needs oil on the outside linkage. The trombone slide, I recommend that you use either a slide cream or the Yamaha trombone slide lubricant, sort of a liquid cream or Slido mix. These things really work great. Trombotine is a cream that works really well, particularly if you have an older trombone that has a couple of dents in the slide. It can sort of forgive some of those dents. The one thing that I would recommend that you don't do is use valve oil on your slide. It won't last. Your water vapor from your breath will bead most of the oil off, and you'll have metal on metal contact without anything in between. And that's a recipe for a slide that breaks down sooner than it should. So keep your trombone in tip-top shape. Rinse it out regularly. I wash my mouthpiece every day. I wash my trombone, not every day, but pretty often, just to make sure that other things don't grow inside there. And the easiest thing that you can do to keep it clean once it is clean, brush your teeth before each practice session. Just keep a toothbrush and toothpaste in your case. I want to thank you so much for taking some time to check out this video today. I've tried to keep things upbeat and moving through here. If you have things that I didn't cover that you feel are important, or you would like me to talk about, or you would like me to give these sort of explanations to other topics, please, I'm going to have my contact information in the description box below, or put a comment underneath the video below. Let me know that you watched this. Let me know if you appreciated it, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about in the future, okay? So stay tuned. The specific etude tutorial videos will be coming out soon, and take care.